Hi everyone, welcome back to Lucky Week 13 of the 2012 NFL season. 3-5 with my picks last week, but I went 2-2 against the spread. Let's get right to those picks. The first game we're going to look at has Seattle going to Chicago, where the Bears are 3.5-point favorites at home. Now, it's quite obvious that Seattle is a far worse team on the road than they are at home, and it's quite obvious that the Bears are a lot better with Jay Cutler as their quarterback. Let's lay the points, and let's take Chicago minus 3.5. The second game we're going to look at has Jacksonville going to Buffalo, where the Bills are 5.5-point favorites at home. You know, Jacksonville's a lot better since Chad Henne took over at quarterback. He's been having a lot of good luck, good production with rookie wide receiver Justin Blockman. You know, they got their first ATS win and straight up win at home, and they got off the snide. Well, now they go on the road where they're 5-0 against the spread. So let's take the points. Let's take Jacksonville plus 5.5. The third game we're going to look at has Houston going to Tennessee, where the Titans are 6-point dogs at home. This is a situation where the home team it's a division game, and the home team is the dog. It's probably the situation where there are more upsets. I'm not saying that Houston is going to lose this game, but keep in mind that this is going to be the second of 3 games in a row for Houston on the road, with New England on the docket next week. They could be looking ahead here. Tennessee fired their offensive coordinator this week, so this could provide a spark into the offense, and they could play the part of the spoiler. So let's take Tennessee plus 6. And the fourth game we're going to look at has Tampa Bay going to Denver, where the Broncos are 7-point favorites at home. No one is better in the NFL this year than Tampa Bay against the spread, where they're 8-2-1. The Buccaneers are tied for the last spot, the last wild card spot, so they're going to be highly motivated. You know, Denver is absolutely running away with the AFC West. I think they'll do just enough to win, but not cover. Let's take Tampa Bay plus 7. Here are the 4 over-under picks. The first game we're going to look at has Jacksonville going to Buffalo. I talked about that earlier. The number's 45 here. You know, these two teams have the 29th and 30th defenses respectively in terms of giving points up, and Chad Henne seems to be lighting it up offensively. Let's take over 45. The second game has my Minnesota Vikings going to Green Bay, where the number is 46.5. Every spread, every trend rather, I could find has this pointing to an over, including 7-1 over in their last 8 games and 4-0 over the last 4 in Green Bay. So that's what we'll do. Let's take over 46.5. And the third game we're going to look at, New England is at Miami. That number is 51. After 2 unders, New England has just rattled off 9 straight overs. Why fight it? Take over 51. And the last game we're going to look at has Pittsburgh going to Baltimore. That number is 39.5. Still no Ben Roethlisberger for Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's defense will show up. I think this will be another low-scoring game, just like a couple of weeks ago. Let's take under the 39.5. All right, let's talk about the straight-up picks. Well, I'm going to move to the side, and right over here are all my straight-up picks for this week. If you're still alive in a suicide pool, as I am, you've got a couple of games to choose from. We talked about Minnesota at Green Bay. That's a high number. Green Bay's favored by about 8.5. Word of advice, never take Minnesota when absolute big money is involved. Never bet for them or against them. As a Vikings fan, I've learned that lesson. New England is at Miami. We talked about that. The spread's pretty high, around 7.5. Same with San Francisco at St. Louis. Same spread, more or less. But these are 2 division games. Like I said, some wacky stuff sometimes happens. I think the safer of those 2 would be taking New England. Tampa Bay's at Denver. I think Denver will win that game, although they won't cover. They definitely won't lose. Myself, I'm going to go with I think it's the Sunday night game. Philadelphia's at Dallas. The spread is pretty high. It's minus 10 for Dallas. I never thought I'd be saying this, but I'm taking Dallas in my suicide pool. All right. Those are my picks for this week. Good luck to you. I'd just like to say, give a special shout out and a special thanks to Frank Caruso and Justin Robar, who joined me this week in a Google Hangout. It was a blast. These things are so fun. You have to get involved. If you want to get involved in the next Google Hangout that I'm doing, just give me a PM and I'll tell you when we're going to do it. Okay, for the GIOKNOWS channel, I am Gio. Let's take the man's money.